Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kalpana Singhal, Editor-in-Chief, Tech Plus Media and CXO TV. As the host of today's webinar, I would like to welcome all of you in an interesting session on adapting Maintenance 4.0 in life sciences. This is brought to you by IBM and Certain Technologies. To make it more exciting and engaging, we will have poll and live questions coming from the attendees, which will be answered at the end of the discussion. So watch the conversation and keep all your queries ready. Before I introduce to the presenter, I just want to take a moment to set context for this live session. During these unprecedented times, pharma companies or any manufacturing organizations for that matter are responding to the rapid challenges arising from disruption in supply chains and the need to change business processes. The unprecedented demand and expectation from life sciences sector in terms of R&D production, supply chain management, and cost optimization is phenomenal. In a nutshell, the objective is to meet the production deadlines and demands amid the surge without compromising on the guidelines and the compliance by regulatory bodies like FDA, EMA, CDCSO, but still deliver at fixed price points. To help us address the above challenges, we have with us Mr. Prashant Sharma, Principal Solution Architect, Enterprise Asset Management, Certain Technologies, who will help us align our asset management strategy with modern maintenance 4.0 practices and evolving business needs to ensure full utilization of resources by increasing reliability and avoiding unplanned downtime of production critical assets. Hello, Prashant, and a warm welcome to you.
Good afternoon, Sultan.
So before we start with the discussion, I would once more like to inform our audience about the poll and having a Q&A round later in this session.
I hope you can see my screen now.
Yeah, we can see your screen. Okay. So Prashant, I know Industry 4.0, which is about automation of manufacturing practices using smart technologies, but I haven't heard about Maintenance 4.0. Can you please throw some light on Maintenance 4.0?
Yeah, sure. So what I will be going to do, I am going to take everyone through some of the slides, and I will be talking about enterprise asset management and then maintenance 4.0. So first thing first, what is enterprise asset management? And the key is what is asset. So ISO 55001 is the global standard that we have for asset management practice, and it defines that asset is basically an entity which has a value for organization, and by proper management of that particular asset, you will be able to achieve your business goals. Asset is for life sciences can be described as any asset which they are using for drug manufacturing or any other medicine manufacturing. They can be filling machine, they can be sterilizing machine, they can be different equipment that they have in the labs. So all those things will be the example of assets. When we talk about assets, it has basically three stages of a life cycle. So first is beginning of the life, that is BOL. The other one is middle of the life, and the third one is end of life. So when we say beginning of the life, it is time when you are deciding to procure an asset. You will be having a capital project, and in the capital project, you will be actually installing this particular asset. Then middle of the life is that you will be using that particular asset for the different operations, and you will be maintaining that particular asset to avoid any downtime. And the last is end of the life. This end of life is the time when you decide that, okay, this particular asset is now taking too much it is being too much difficult for us to maintain this asset, and you are taking a decision to decommission this particular asset. So this is what the whole asset life cycle looks like. And what enterprise asset management basically do is it helps us to manage this complete life cycle of the asset, and this helps us to maximize the use of the asset. It helps us to minimize the downtime and breakdown. It also helps to improve the quality and efficiency of the product that you are going to deliver. And also it is going to improve the health, safety, and working environment. things. The first thing is the decision efficiency. The second thing is decision point, and the last thing is asset management efficiency. This asset management efficiency is a factor which every organization want to increase, so that the cost of maintaining of the asset goes down. As we go from the different paradigm, first comes the corrective maintenance. So this is the point where you do not have much information about what is going on with your assets. You will actually be doing maintenance when there is a kind of a breakdown or there is a fault. This is a highest costly, cost-wise, this is the highest maintenance type, where you will actually be doing a maintenance when there is a breakdown or there is a fault, which can result into a production loss for you. The next decision point is in real time or about real time. So there comes the time-based maintenance or the condition-based maintenance. So condition-based, time-based maintenance is something where you are doing a preventive action to ensure that your assets are being maintained at a particular frequency, which is a time-based, which will be given by maybe by your OEM or by your different practices of different asset. You have seen that maintain this particular asset on a particular frequency. Maybe it is a weekly, it will be bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, once in a year, you will be doing that maintenance. The next one is condition-based maintenance, which is again comes under the preventive maintenance. And here you are trying to utilize the frequency. For example, there are different assets where you are having meters associated. There can be different kind of meters. Like you have an asset where you are having a meter which actually measures the temperature or it measures the pressure. So you will having meter readings. There can be IT system with which you will be actually taking this data, or maybe manually you will be doing the readings of, you will be taking the readings and you will be inputting that reading into your maintenance system that you are using. And once a particular limit will be reached, a work order will be generated. That is condition-based maintenance. Then the maintenance 4.0, which is more linked towards the reliability central maintenance, which talks about predictive maintenance and prescriptive maintenance. So in predictive and prescriptive maintenance, the idea is that you have to take the data from the assets, and before the breakdown or fault happens, you have to do the prediction. And in the prescriptive maintenance, we are now going one more step ahead, where we are not only going to get the information about when the breakdown will happen, but system will itself tell us that, okay, what are the different actions that you have to take, right? So this is an EM maturity model which we are going to talk, and this derives the same thing which I have shown you in the last slide, that there are systems, there are companies, right, which uses only ERP. They have one module, or they are not even having ERP. They simply have a pen and paper system where they will simply be noting down everything on the pen and paper, and then manually they will be deciding when the maintenance has to happen. They will be having calendar-based PMs, or they will be having reactive maintenance. Then the next level is L2, where you have some kind of IT system in place, and where you are doing data entry in that particular IT system. And there you are having condition-based maintenance capability, or you have capability to do the forecasting of the PM, or you will be doing a reactive maintenance using some kind of workflows. The last, which is the most advanced term, more aligned towards the maintenance 4.0, is related with prescriptive and predictive maintenance, where you are using IoT or cyber physical systems or digital twins or AI. So you are having smart assets, you are using sensors in your assets, you are reading the data, which is a big data, you are doing the processing of the data, and then you are having AI. And the AI is giving you the predictions. There are different AI models which you are actually using, and on the basis of the prediction, you come to know that when the next downtime will happen on the asset condition. So you will be having predictive forecasting, you will be having users-based PM, and you will be getting the reliability-centered maintenance. In this L2 and L3, you will find that there are IT systems in place where EAM is there and ERP is there, and there is an integration in between. So in general, what the client get from enterprise asset management, and this applies to any of the industry, whether it is life sciences or any other industry, wherever you are using enterprise asset management, you will be having different advantages, like reducing the unplanned downtime, increasing the asset reliability, then extending life of the asset, then decreasing the total cost of ownership of the asset, how much you are investing into maintaining of an asset, then reducing the inventory cost, you will be all in. And when you are actually reducing the cost, you are actually improving the profits. One other advantage of using any AM system is that you will actually not be maintaining things in paper, and you will actually be doing data entry in an IT system. So the data quality and integrity will actually improve. And once the data quality and integrity will improve, the data that you are accumulating, you will be actually able to do, any analytics on top of it, and you will be actually able to take the smart decisions, which will eventually help you to be competitive, in today's market. So this is it for the enterprise the asset lifecycle management, and what are the different advantages that you have.
Absolutely. So these interesting qualities of EAM add up to provide a life science manufacturing enterprise with real-time visibility into the health of its assets. All right. So with this, we have our first poll coming up, and which is all about. I would request my team to please launch the poll. And the question that we have put in the first poll is, what clients get from enterprise asset management? I'm sorry, it's as per EAM maturity model, how do you classify your organization? And the options are manual process using paper form, spreadsheet, or ERP, or is it the workflow or condition-based maintenance processes? And the third option is predictive forecasting and reliability center maintenance. So the poll is in progress, and we're just waiting for the results. Just wait for a couple of seconds. Okay, so here goes the results. Interestingly, 43% of people says that manual process using paper form, spreadsheet, or ERP, and 39% says workflow or condition-based maintenance processes, and 17% says predictive forecasting and reliability centered. So what are your comments on this, Prashant?
Pretty interesting and actually expected, because the life cycle of the different implementation which I have seen so far, this is what we have actually seen. So pretty much expected. Some of the industries are there going for industry 4.0. So they are very few in the numbers when they are taking the initiative to go for predictive or prescriptive. Even if you break it down further, prescriptive is even going to go less, because there are a lot of use cases in making. But yeah, pretty interesting. And I think I will say the same, that what we see during the implementation.
Right. So Prashant, thanks for the great insights on maintenance 4.0 and asset management. I know you have implemented IBM Maximo asset management systems for life science organizations. So what are the typical challenges in managing assets in life sciences organizations, and how do you think an EAM system can help to overcome those challenges?
Okay, sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I have prepared some of the slides. So I will run them through and talk through about these challenges and what are the advantages that specifically life sciences customers will be going to get. So okay. So first, let's talk about industry challenges in life sciences, and this is what we have seen. When we go for the implementation or different talks or market trends, what we have seen is that, first of all, there are many things which are changing from the traditional way things are happening in life sciences. Also, subsequently there are impact on the maintenance practices that are actually going to happen in life sciences. So first thing is cost pressure. We know that today's world is very competitive. There are a lot of different kind of cost pressure that you are having. There are a lot of new technology which has come into market, and there's a huge desire from the leadership of these companies, and also the peer pressure. Maybe you can say that we have to go and adapt to the different new technologies which are available in the market. The third point is that time to market is actually decreasing, and the clinical trial management, to keep it short and sweet, is something which is coming in the picture. Everybody want to make sure that the clinical trial which they are taking is not extending beyond a certain time. The next one is there's a pattern coming of the generic drugs, because there are a lot of generic drugs now available. There are a lot of patents which are going away, and a lot of generic drugs are coming into picture. So there's rising healthcare costs associated to that. Then there are a lot of regulatory compliance, which has come into picture. Take FDA or any other regulatory body, they will be coming on a periodic basis. What are the the new regulatory compliance they can put, so that the drugs and the medicines that you are administering to any patient, it should be they want to ensure that it is high in the quality. Other than that, there are some other issues, like for example, there is a lot of counterfeiting drug problem is there, and a lot of focus has been put into the supply chain to fight out the issue. There are various applications coming, like blockchain is being used. There are use cases to handle that. And the most important since the last year, which everybody is impacted, is COVID-19, obviously, and this has actually done a lot of impact for day-to-day working of organizations. So similarly, if you see any plant for any pharma manufacturing client, you will see that they are reducing how many employees can actually do the work in the plant. They are reducing the work from and they are increasing the work from home. They have to go for paperless, so that they are needing tools which can be used to quickly so that people can actually access the systems where they are working from the home. There is a high demand of vaccine, and it has put a lot of pressure on the production and maintenance, and obviously maintenance fatigue is also there. So nobody right now want that there is a production loss, or my line is stopped where I am creating some kind of vaccine or some kind of a life-saving drug, because there is a maintenance fault. So these are some of the challenges that we have, and the answer to handle all these things are basically the EAM system. And actually, what I'm going to talk today is about IBM Maximo. So IBM Maximo is Maximo's product, and it is used worldwide. When we talk about life sciences customer, pharma customers, there are three different areas where the whole maintenance happens. One is engineering, other one is calibration, and third one is area equipment validation. So Maximo gives the ability for you to handle all these things, do all kind of maintenance, which we will talk about today. When we talk about Maximo, Maximo is actually FDA and EU compliant. It is 21 CFR Part 11 and Annex 11 guidelines. It supports that guidelines. If we talk about GAMP 5, it is classified as Category 4, which is configured product. If you talk about the risk-based verification, because any IT system or any other system, when we go to pharma, it has to be validated. It cannot simply be used. So that is there are traditional method of doing that with computer software validation, we say CSV, or the new upcoming practice of CSA, that is computer software assurance. Maximo support risk-based verification for both of them. Then this diagram I have put together, which has come from the Gartner, last year's Gartner, and you can see IBM is a leader. So IBM is there, IBM Maximo is there in this particular leaders quadrant since I believe last 17 to 18 years. These are some of the key customers who are these are the pharma or life sciences customer who use Maximo. 7 out of 10 major pharmaceutical company, by the way, uses Maximo, and it gives very good value proposition for the customers because it is specifically designed. IBM Maximo for life sciences is a version which is specifically designed for life sciences or pharma needs. It is not like any other ERP which is simply designed. You have a preventive maintenance module there, but it is not very much specific to life sciences. These are some of the key capabilities, which we can see for the for Maximo, IBM Maximo for life sciences provide. So first of all, you can manage all your assets. It supports 21 CFR Part 11. It has e-signature, all kind of functionalities. You can do preventive maintenance, and you can also do the preventive maintenance not only for the normal engineering assets, but also for the calibration masters or for the UUC. You can do that. It gives you ability to do the condition monitoring. It can generate a corrective work order. If you are having some systems, you can take data from it. It can do condition monitoring for you. It provides you the ability to do the breakdown and reactive maintenance. It will also give you ability to capture different calibration point. You can take the calibration readings, and you can do the loop kind of calibration. You can have the traceability of your masters. You can have the reverse traceability of your master. All these capabilities are there, which are very common problems which organization faces when they go for calibration. It also gives you ability to do the work control, where uh, in a pharma, the big difference is that not every technician can start doing any kind of work. They are restricted with, they are having a lot of strict SOPs. There are a lot of certification that you have to do before you can actually start working. So you can also do that kind of controlling when you are actually giving a work order to work to some other technician. So that work control has been given. You will be having ability to do area equipment validation. It also gives you ability to do the purchasing. You can do the inventory management and purchasing. You can have for all the spare parts that you want to store, because you have to do the maintenance of your assets. So you will be having capability like reordering. You can do ABC analysis. You can do cycle counting, maximum support, all of these functionality. And then you are having the purchase module, where you will be having PR, PO, receipts, invoices, all those RFQ, all those standard modules are also available, which you can utilize. Also, you will be having you can integrate Maximo with any of the ERP system or any other legacy system in the world. You can integrate with IoT. You can integrate with SAP, Oracle, Finance, or any other system. So it has strong integration capability also. One other interesting point that I wanted to talk is that Maximo also has a mobile solution for you. And how this is important is that this is a role-based mobile application which you can actually give to your technicians who are actually on the ground. In pharma, sometimes it happens that you will be working in a controlled environment. You will not even have an access for Wi-Fi, right? So in that case, this mobile solution will give you ability to do the work on online and offline mode. Also, the other thing is that typically what people do, that they will have some kind of pen and paper, and the technician will go to that place, and they will actually be filling things in the pen and paper. They will be taking the calibration reading, and then they will come to their systems, whatever system they use, they will come to it and they will input the data. There are chances that you are actually having some data errors over there. So those type of things can also be eliminated when we are actually using mobile. You can give a handheld or a mobile app to your technician, can go there in online, offline, whatever mode. They can simply do the data entry over there, and then there is no need for them to actually go to a desktop and do the entry, any kind of entry in your Maximo system.
Yeah. So I can now imagine the need of an EM system such as IBM Maximo to manage assets in a life science organization. I'm now more interested to know the use cases to understand how such a system can help to improve asset management processes.
Sure. I will take you through some of the specific use cases. There are a lot of use cases available, but I have selected some of them, so that is what I'm going to talk through. So the first one is preventive maintenance. As I said, there are different kinds of maintenance which are available, and every organization, as per the requirement and as per their EM maturity, they should go for any kind of maintenance that they want to go. If you think that today I will simply go and start doing predictive maintenance, I want to utilize maintenance 4.0, it is not going to work, because you do not have you do not have the base from which you have to start. So there are different kind of maintenance you can do. Maximo provides you the ability to do all these kind of maintenance. So first is preventive maintenance. Again, as I said, the whole idea is to prevent downtime, right? And so for preventive maintenance, this is a typical process generally which people can go for. Like in Maximo, there is something known as job plan, and this job plan is nothing but a checklist. So this tells you that when you are going to maintain a particular asset, say a filling machine, what are the steps the technician has to do. So you can create a job plan. Then in the Maximo, you will have a module known as PM, that is preventive maintenance. You can associate your asset with your PM, and then you can associate this checklist, and you can define what is the different frequency on which you want to generate, right? Then system has the ability to automatically generate the work order for you. If you are using manual pen and paper, in that case, you need to have a person who will be keep tracking daily what are the different PM which I have to do today, right? Because there can be a different frequency. But in the Maximo, you have ability to automatically get these PM work orders, and it can automatically be assigned to a respective maintenance group. As per if you are having different department, you can assign this accordingly. System can be configured, and it can automatically be assigned to a particular group. And finally, when a particular maintenance group will get it, a technician will go. The technician will start doing the maintenance. They will be having the ability to report what are the materials they are using, what are the what are the work hours that for which they have done the work, what are the different observations that they have. It may happen that you want to make some changes, you want to recommend something, or you want a piece of information which you want your supervisor to see. You can report all those things in the log, and then you can complete the PM work order. This is the quick snippet that I would like to show. Like if you see, this is in the PM you have a frequency, and in the frequency it gives you ability for meter-based frequency or the time-based frequency. So if you are filling this time-based frequency, you can put there that on what frequency a PM record should be generated, whether it is a quarterly, whether it is yearly. You can do that. This is how the work order screen will look like, where you will actually be having the work order. You can actually take a printout of this work order, and you can give this printout to your technician, and your technician will actually be able to see that, okay, on what asset he has to do the work. This asset is located at what location, and then what are the start date and end date, different end dates on which he has to do the work, and what are the different tasks which which they have to do. So they will be able to see, okay, they have to first do that, then that, then the third one, then the fourth one, and like that. Then you will again record the log. You can report the labor time, work time, all those things you can record on your PM. For the supervisors, there are different kind of work reports and the dashboard which we can actually prepare, and then there you can use these dashboard to see the compliance that they have in their plant. So this can always be configured, and they can see what exactly was supposed to happen and what has happened. So the next one I will show is the condition-based maintenance. So condition-based maintenance Maximo gives you ability to create a condition record on your asset and give a limit that will be the warning limit and the action limit. What Maximo does is that when you are actually going to enter the data, it can be manually or with a third-party system using the integration. If you are getting the data, it will keep checking for the limit, and when it hits the limit, it automatically drop a work order for you, and it will be assigned to a particular group, and that particular group will actually be doing the work. So this is how we set up the user point, where for an asset we will actually be setting up the warning limit, which will be upper warning limit or lower warning limit, and once this will be reached, automatic work order in the system will be created, which will have all the related need that your technician will require. The next one is reactive breakdown maintenance. So this is when you have to do some corrections or there is a breakdown. So generally what happens is that it is not only that this particular application has to be used by person who is working in the lab or in the plant. Say for example, you are sitting in a room in your plant, and you see that HVAC is not working over there. You can raise a work request, and that particular work request can go to the maintenance team, and maintenance team can actually review that, and they can decide whether a work order can be created. We can also configure system in a way that automatically a work order will be created without any manual intervention, and that particular work order will be done by a specific person in your maintenance team. They will be reporting material, they will be reporting work hour, they will be reporting log entry. Also, for the corrective maintenance work type, you have the ability to do the RCA. This is the work request screen, how it looks like, where you are actually having who has created this request, what is the asset, what is the problem that a user is reporting. If you want to attach any screenshot or any video, you can do that, any photo with that. And then this will be created into a work order, and that particular work order will have an option to do the failure reporting. This failure reporting is something which you can use for FMEA. So you can have a failure classes template, and user will be able to actually choose when they are working on the work order, and it's the corrective maintenance or breakdown maintenance work order. They will actually be able to see to mention what was the problem, what was the cost, and what is the remedy. And then Maximo gives you the ability to have different kind of reports. So this is one of the report which you can use for failure analysis, and which will show you What are the top 20% of problems that you are having? So this will work as a feedback loop for your preventive maintenance processes, where you can see, okay, these are the problems which I'm getting on a frequency, on a higher frequency. So let us look why this is happening, give it a feedback, and see if we have to make the corrections in the preventive maintenance. Maybe the job plan has to be revised, or if the frequency of the maintenance has to be changed. We can do all those things, for the, and take the, so that this issue does not happen in the future. Then for the asset lifecycle management, there are multiple features and things which are available. And I have put together one of the sample process, which the pharma companies does. Is this basically that you will actually be taking an asset, and when you are doing the installation of the asset, you will be filling the data of that asset into the Maximo, and then it has to be reviewed by a different set of people. And finally, so there are different roles, we know in the pharma. And finally, the QA is the one who will be taking the decision, and they will be activating the asset. So you can see that there are different roles here, and each and every role can get the record using workflow. So in the workflow, the record will be assigned from one person to another person. The another person will pass it to third person. If they want some correction, he can send back. All those things, all these kind of process flows and workflows can also be designed into Maximo. When we talk about asset, specification is something which is something which can be used on a very high basis in pharma industry, and this specification is linked with something known as calibration. And what it helps is to do the classification of the asset. It basically has some attributes, which these are the common attributes which you will be associating with this kind of asset, right? So what exactly happens is that this you will be filling the value for each asset. You can just have a classification calibration, for example. You can associate this, and all the specifications will be available. What exactly it helps you to do is to standardize the data collection process that you are having. So you will not run up into issue where you have some asset where you are having 10 specification and the remaining 9 are missed because the person who was loading the data was not aware that they have to add these kind of attributes as well. On the asset itself, you can see what are the different spare parts. As I said, you need these spare parts for the maintenance. These are the things that you require for your maintenance, and you can procure. It will actually copy to your work order, and you will see what are the different quantities in which you need it. You can see the maintenance history, where it will be able to see what is the total work order which are there, how many work orders are in what status. If there are some PM, what are the different PMs that you have. You have another requirement in pharma that we have is the GMP equipment logbook. So there is an application asset event. You can use this particular application to do the reporting of any event which you think is useful and need to be reviewed or need to be collected. As I said that it is 21 CFR Part 11 compliant, there are e-signature and e-audit functionalities available. E-signature is so, for example, consider a scenario where you have an asset record, and in the asset record, you have taken two fields. One is calibration, and other is GMP critical. And you want to ensure that not everyone can come and simply change it. And if it is being changed, it should be tracked. There are different kind of requirement and different kind of modules which is possible when you are doing day-to-day work. So you can enable e-signature as well as e-audit capability. What e-signature does is that when someone comes and when they are going to change something, some requirement, some data here, they have to put a password, they have to put their login name, login password, and they have a reason for change. This particular reason of change is going to be there in the database, and you will be able to report it later. So you can also see the audit changes that has happened. So in this example, as I was saying, when the record was created, calibration checkbox and GMP critical was not checked, and now the user Ram has come and he has done the check. So we are taking the change date, and we are also storing the change by, and you will be able to also do a reporting. So why this report are important? You might be asked to present this kind of report when FDA comes for audit or any other kind of regulatory audit happens. You can simply print this report and you can give it to the auditors. The next is calibration, very important for life sciences or pharma companies. So calibration is basically a process where you are going to adjust your equipment which you use for drug manufacturing or any medicine manufacturing. And For that, you actually take different readings, and to do that, there is a standardization process which is available in Maximo, where you actually create a calibration template, and in the calibration template, you will be actually able to add different asset functions. You will be able to add what are the different input value, output values are there. You can associate that particular template with any equipment, and this particular template will actually give you automatically generated work order. So not only for normal engineering assets, for you can actually create automatic work orders for maintenance, preventive maintenance of masters and UUCs that you are actually having, right? And you can again do, once the work order is generated, you can actually take the calibration readings, and system will validate whether the test is pass and fail. Once it is calibrated, you can complete the work order. This is how the calibration template look like, where you can see that we are having different asset functions, and then for every asset function there are multiple calibration points are available, and for every asset function you can define what is the input, what is the output, what is the tolerance. There are multiple different kind of template you can create depending on the kind of assets that you have, and then when the work order will be generated, you will see an additional template, that is additional tab, which is the calibration template here, where you will actually be able to do the entry. You will be actually able to do the entry, and accordingly system will decide whether the test is pass or fail. This is one of the sample calibration certificate which I'm showing you here, and this one goes again as a report requirement, mostly asked by auditor. They will be asking for this. You can simply come and generate this template from the system, and this is how obviously this template can be changed as per your requirement, but this is how the data can be presented, and all the data can be electronically given to auditor when they ask for. I think there's a time for a poll now. Over to you. Kalpana, hello?
Yeah, so it's time for our second poll. And the question is there on your screen. How do you manage calibration process? And the options are manual paper forms, or the second option is software application. The poll is in progress. Just wait for another couple of seconds. So here are the results. 57% says software application, and the remaining 43% says manual or paper forms. So okay. Big figure, I mean, for manual also. Significant. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So moving forward. So that's a very detailed demonstration. Can you also explain the implementation approach for life science organizations, considering that it is a highly regulated industry?
Yeah, sure. I will do that. Before that, I think I would also like to, cover little about validation, and then I will go to that, your question. So this validation is something which is also one of the important area, which many of the pharma companies do. And so what is this validation process is that, that pharma companies are basically storing the vaccines or different kind of drugs. When they are manufacturing it, they will be having, mice or different kind of animals on which they will do the testing, right? And when they are actually discovering some drug. So what happens is that that point of time, they want to ensure that there is a temperature, pressure, everything is maintained, sunlight, everything is maintained in the rooms where all these things are there. Whether it's a warehouse where you are actually keeping your vaccines, there will be different cold rooms. So to maintain this, there are a specific set of tests that happens actually, and then there are multiple different kind of tests which happens for each and for different purposes. And so how we can do that is Maximo also provides the ability to do this. And what you can do is you will actually be creating a validation template. Like you create a calibration template, similarly you can create a validation template. You can associate this particular template with asset. This will have your acceptance criteria, and you will be actually able to associate the template. You can also define a frequency, and as Maximo has the capability on a particular frequency, it will be actually able to generate the work order for you, which will be validation kind of work order. This again can be configured to assign automatically to a particular group, or it can be assigned manually. They will actually be taking the validation reading against these work orders. System will actually decide whether the test is pass or fail, rather than which happens when this happens on pen and paper. This happens mainly by someone has to do the calculation, and then they will be having Excel form where they will be filling this value, and automatically Excel will tell them after doing the calculation whether the test is pass or fail, and then they can complete the work order. So validation work order for this is one of the sample one for air velocity at working height. This is one of the tests, one of the mini tests that happens, and you will be you can see that in this particular work order the layout looks different. You have acceptance criteria, and then you have different tasks where you are actually having a place to do the readings. And what happens is this user will be actually getting this work order where they will actually input they can do the measurement, and they can input the readings, and system will automatically tell whether the results are pass and fail, and then accordingly the user will be able to complete the work. This is the sample validation certificate which I'm showing here. This is similar to the calibration certificate you have. Again, you can simply print it out directly, and you can give it to your auditor if it is being asked. This can always be changed by if there are different requirements for the customers. Now, coming to your question, Kalpana, you have asked specifically for the implementation approaches. So, on the implementation approaches, what I will say is that the implementation approach for any IT system, when we are talking in some other industry other than life sciences, is very easy as compared to when we are talking about life sciences. The reason being, there are a lot of documentation requirement and lot of validation requirement that you have into the life science industry. So how we start when we go and do the Maximo implementation, what we first do is that first we come up with a document known as user's requirement specification. This particular document, user requirement specification, is the one where the user will actually giving us the requirement that this is what we want. These are the different features we want. These are our different requirements. We will be converting that requirement to the functional specification, where we will actually be doing the discussion with them. This is more like a Maximo term document where you will be able to see the different kind of reports that you need, the different kind of workflows that you need, what are the different roles which are there in the workflow, what are the security needs that you have, if you want to do some integration, all those kind of things will be there in the functional specification document. Once it is approved, we prepare design specification document. And this design specification document is the one where you will actually be seeing the design from the system, that how we are low level and high level design. If we are, for example, if we are doing some kind of integration with SAP, what are the different touch points we are having? Or if we are doing some kind of other integration with any other IoT system, what are the touch points we have? What are the different screens that we are going to give? What are the different fields we are going to add in different screens in Maximo or in the mobile? So we will come up with a design specification and we will get it approved. Once it is done, we start with the development or configuration of the Maximo. And in the configuration of Maximo, we actually go for a sprint approach, where the bulk of the requirement we break them and we created different small buckets of different sprints. And that particular sprints, what we will do the development of the item or configuration of the item as per the user requirement, and we showcase it to user. So if there are some observations, we handle them then and there. So what advantage it does is that rather than doing the complete development where lot of modules are interrelated and showing everything together in the last to the user, it may happen that one small change can have cascading effect, and you may have to change it, and you may have to do another change for 10 other related places, right? So to avoid that, we go for the sprint approach. And users also get a little confidence after seeing the system, because what we have seen for many organizations, they have not seen Maximo before, or they have not seen similar systems before. They might be coming from the manuals, paper-based systems, So we this also gives them an idea, and they also start thinking in the direction, okay, how the system will look like, and how they are doing the things on the paper, how it will be done on the IT system. And finally, we will start doing the infrastructure related work. Infrastructure is the required, because Maximo is a web application, and even if you are going for mobile application, you need some kind of hardware. So you will require mobile phones, or you will require a tab. So we go for installation qualification, where all the servers and infrastructure, all the topology configuration that we do for infrastructure, we put together in a document, and we follow the installation qualification protocol. Once it is approved, we go for the user training. In the user training, our focus remains mostly for users to make them as comfortable as they can, because they are going to use the system. Give them hands-on training, give them scenario-based training, which is more aligned towards the processes that they are going to use. And once user training is done, we will start with operational qualification. This is very important milestone in any of the IT system implementation, where before operation qualification, we put together a set of the protocol document for which we have to take approval. This protocol document has what are the steps that you have to follow when you are actually validating a piece of requirement. And this particular operation qualification, once the document is approved, we work with the users very closely. We execute operational qualification, and we also take users input. So along with the users, we will doing the operation qualification protocol execution, collect all the evidences, and send it for approval. Once it is approved, then we will migrate all the configuration. If there are some discrepancies, for example, in the operation qualification we have seen, we need to fix it. So we have to do the discrepancy management, and then we will be going it to once all the discrepancies are fixed, we will actually be doing the cutover. Cutover is nothing but migrating all the changes and requirement to the production environment. And after it is migrated, the production qualification start. Again, for production qualification, before we have to come up with a document and we have to get it approved. This production qualification is a phase where user will actually be using the system, and for the period of 2 weeks to 4 weeks, they use the system. They will do whatever. So today, for a user, if someone is doing some processing on the paper, they will be doing the exact same process in the Maximo, and they will be validating whether everything is working fine or not. If there is any discrepancy, we have to fix the discrepancy. And once everything is sorted, we will be coming up with a production qualification protocol sign off. Once the sign off is received, then a validation summary report is prepared, which will actually having the traceability, complete traceability for all the requirements, and all the different in between. There are different documents like risk plan, risk management plan, all those things we have to prepare. So all those things, validation plan, all those things will be closed in the validation summary report. And then the support mode start, where we will be helping users to do some enhancements or any other kind of requirements, any other kind of issues which they are facing for day-to-day working. This is the typical implementation methodology which we follow.
Sure. So it's time to take up the audience questions, and I can see many questions coming up. But in the interest of time, let me pick up some very interesting one. Okay, Rashmi Tripathi has written that, is it compatible or can work with other available ERP? If we can detail out.
Yes, it can be done. Yes. So there are different kind of ERP like SAP, Oracle, right? And Maximo actually has a very powerful, integration framework. We say it MIF, that is Maximo Integration Framework. And the beauty is that you can integrate Maximo with a legacy system to any advanced system like digital twin. And for any other ERP, definitely you can do integration. There are out-of-the-box adapters which are available, provided by IBM, or there are custom approaches also using MIF. You can do the integration.
Okay. So the next part of this question is, why should I opt for Maximo? I think you.
Yeah. Yes. Why should I opt for Maximo? I will say is that I will come back to my earlier slide, where I was talking about maturity model. And traditionally, if you will be having, there are two kind of cases. One kind of cases are there where you are having manual paper-based system, right? Where you are managing everything on the paper, and you are having you are doing manual entries, and you are managing everything manually. Highly inefficient, because you are actually working only on the corrective maintenance, and obviously for sure you are actually increasing your inventory cost, and definitely you are not utilizing the advantage of asset management practices. That is one case. The second case can be, you might be having some other ERP in place. For example, you have SAP, and SAP has given you a preventive maintenance module, right? And in that preventive maintenance module, you will actually be having limited capability that is not designed specifically for Maximo. So if you are in a life sciences industry, or you are in any other industry, you should go for Maximo, because it is first, has a base flavor. On top of it, you will actually be having specific features that you need in your day-to-day job. For example, IBM Maximo for life sciences is designed to handle the day-to-day maintenance processes that you are actually having. So you can go for that. It will help you not only to streamline your processes, but there are various advantages which I have tell you about, right? All those things will be there for you. You can go for that. Is the reason why you can go for Maximo.
Yeah. So another question, Prashant, that is coming up is, does this system provide list of pending work details in an email?
Yes, it does. You will be able to configure that. There are different kind of reports which you can configure. There are different options available where you will actually be able to configure emails in a specific format. If there are any pending work, that can be delivered in form of any form if you want. If you want it in a PDF format or Excel format, it is obviously it is all absolutely configurable, and you will be able to get that.
And one more question that I can see is, okay, can our IT team do changes or develop reports or KPIs for our business users?
Very much possible. There are two kind of reports which are available in Maximo. So something is known as on-demand report. Also, it has capability to do ad hoc reporting. So your IT team can very well do the changes in the reports. The reporting solution inbuilt in Maximo is known as BERT. So if they are aware of the BERT, and if they can, if they are well versed with SQL, they can make the change. On-demand report are some. This is for on-demand report, but for ad hoc report, those reports you can design by yourself, and you can make the change without knowledge of SQL. Those are drag and drop based reports which can easily be created, and your IT team can very well make the changes.
There is another question from Narendra Kalrani. Do it necessarily require ERP for the system?
No, ERP is not required for the system. Why I put an example of ERP, because this is something which we have seen at many places, and this is the very common question which is being asked. This system is EAM, so Maximo EAM, which you will be using to maintain the life cycle of your assets, right? Complete life cycle of your assets. So there is no need for you to go for any ERP. Again, if you are having, the general practice is that if you are having an organization which already has a ERP, and you are using ERP for any material management or supply chain or finance related requirement, you can integrate EAM with ERP. But if you do not have any ERP, you want to go for maintenance centric, you want to go for reliability centered maintenance or any other kind of maintenance, you can very well go and do the EAM installation. There's no absolute need for you to go for ERP. Hope this answers the question.
Yeah, thanks, Prashant. Abhijit Borse, excuse me if I'm pronouncing wrong. He's asking, can you put some light on how Maximo is effective where drug batches change frequently and resource management is crucial in such time?
Can you repeat the question again, Krishna?
Sure. Can you put some light how Maximo is effective where drug batches change frequently and resource management is crucial in such time?
Yeah, okay. So for batch processing, yes, in the supply chain management, you can there are different kind of applications which are available, and you can configure the application as per your need. So, for example, if you are sending a shipment, right, for the batches whatever you have produced, you are sending a shipment. Maximo gives you ability to do the tracking of that. Similarly, you will be, there are different dashboards available, there are different reports available which you can actually run, and you can see what is going on with the batch production. One other thing is that Maximo also gives you ability to create custom applications, and you also have ability to make changes to the existing application. So for example, if you see that okay, a particular process of batch management is not available out of the box, you can create a custom application, and you can the same database, it is going to reside where one of the application in many application of Maximo will be that particular application which you like to see, and or you want to change any existing application for you want to tailor as per your need, you can also do that. So both the options are also available. So I hope that this clarifies.
Sure. Prashant, Pankaj Bhardwaj is asking that as in the presentation you have mentioned that auto WO are generated for PM. Suppose if a particular equipment is under usage, then how system is going to respond, whether cancelling the WO or something else?
Okay, so then there are multiple ways to handle this. Okay, so if this is, so what happens is there is a specific role that you have is known as planner or scheduler, right? And in the plant. So what they do is the general process, how it happens is that Maximo gives you ability to do the forecasting of your PMs. So what you can do that at start of the quarter or start of the month, you can just do the forecasting of the PM. And generally, you will be having the production department who will be knowing that okay, at this day I am actually going to have the I am going to have this particular production plant, so my equipment will be in the uses. That is the one way. This forecasting data can be sent to your production system, whether it is MES or any other system, and you can, and there it can be decided, whether we can go for maintenance, or if the system is uses. Maximo gives you ability to do that, creating the deferring of that particular work order. So work order will be there. You can simply defer the work order, or you can cancel the work order, and it is automatically going to change the whatever date of the that particular work order generation had happened. It will revert it back. Next PM will be generated. It will take care of. It will calculate the frequency accordingly, and you will be actually able to get the work done at one point of time. So there are 2-3 ways how you can do. Either you can communicate and you can plan things in advance, or if the system is in uses, then the work order can be cancelled. Or there is also another way is that you can also, if you are not using time based PM, you are using frequency based PM. So frequency based PM is something which is going to read the data. So if your equipment is in use and if you are having a meter, you can send that particular data to Maximo, and this PM will actually be triggering work order on the basis of a frequency. So if it is, so all these things can be configured, and accordingly, this particular process can be developed.
Thanks, Prashant, and I hope Pankaj you have got the reply. One last question, Prashant. Does this system support mobile?
Yes, system support mobile, and this is the slide which I was talking through. So there's we also have our own mobile application. There is a system available. You will be able to use whatever you are doing on Maximo on the web. You can always do that thing on the mobile. There is no need for user to log in into a desktop or a laptop. There will be some people who might be using it. For example, supervisor work orders can be assigned. There are facilities like push notification. When the SR or work order is assigned to you, you will be getting a notification. Oh, some work has assigned. You can see the priorities. Why is the work? You can see what are the work that has to happen, and then you can complete that. You can do that. You can read what are the different tasks available. So whatever is there on the web, the same thing is available for you to do all the transactions, whether it is engineering or calibration. You can very well do on the mobile.
Right, Prashant. Rashmi Tripathi is again asking, is it available on cloud or on-premise or hybrid environment?
Okay, so again, it depends on your organization's policy. So Maximo is available on cloud, Maximo is available on-prem. So generally, what we recommend is you need to see what is the technology stack or the roadmap that your company is following. as I said, it is available in the container form also. If you want to go for the containerization, very well, it is available. If you want to go for on-prem, it is very well available. So yes, all the options are available for you.
All right. Last but not the least, what message you would like to give to our audience, Prashant, before we wrap up?
The message is, which I would like to give, is that go for, if you are using any pen and paper based system, get away from it. Try to go for a system which has ability to do the preventive maintenance at least. And if you are using preventive maintenance, you have to go for some advanced solutions. You can go for mobility, because it will drastically help you to improve the your data quality. We have done implementation, mobile implementation also, I know, for some of the life sciences customers, and we have seen there is a drastic change in the productivity, and overall efficiency of the system efficiency has improved. And if you are using already some kind of preventive maintenance, I will say it is better to go for industry specific solution and go for predictive maintenance. Go build those, go and build those capabilities, and use Maximo. This is the one of the solution which is there in the market since last more than 30 years now. As I showed already, market leader, specifically tailored for pharma, fulfills all the requirements that you have. So yeah, this is, and if there are anything where you need our help, please feel free to reach to us.
Sure. Thank you, Prashant. It was a complete pleasure interacting with you. I am sure the insights shared by you today will be really useful for our audience. Appreciate your time. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you everyone for attending the session. Please follow #CXOTV and stay tuned to our social media channels for more updates. Stay safe and take care.
Thank you. Bye.